Chair Lady. I would remind members of both sides of the aisle that, that President Trump's approval rating is soaring, and last I checked, congressional approval is not, and I think that bears witness. Mr. Dickerson and Mr. Burton, do you think Congress should withdraw additional funds other than the $9 billion recently approved by the House?
Absolutely. The federal budget is entirely out of control. There are hundreds of billions of dollars of improper payments. There are tremendous numbers of agencies whose missions are not being fulfilled and are wasting money. There's the opportunity for many, many tens of billions of dollars of additional rescissions.
Wholeheartedly agree.
And just yesterday, we passed unanimously. It was like pulling teeth, though, and I give a lot of credit to the chair lady for helping me get the bill across the finish line. We were sending millions of dollars every week to the Taliban, if you can imagine that. And then the NGOs, and that money flows right back to Washington, dark money or possibly in members of this body's pockets or their families, I suspect. And,
Well, huge amounts of the money flows to very wealthy Beltway bandits that live around here.
Yes, sir. I would agree with that. What other programs and activities should be looked at for additional cuts?
I think there's a whole host of things that you can look at to fix the federal budget. For example, Congress has allowed the Biden administration to spend billions of dollars to facilitate the illegal immigration, for example, in the Migration and Refugee Assistance account, in the DHL Shelter and Services account. That has helped facilitate open borders and transport illegal immigrants all throughout the country into your districts across the country. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars on abortion providers to literally kill American citizens. I think that's a terrible thing. We spend billions of dollars subsidizing green energy research that makes our grid more inefficient. And so there's lots of great examples that we could go on about.
Yeah, the list is extraordinarily long, but the big money is two places: healthcare and entitlements. The United States spends twice as much as a percentage of GDP than the OECD average on healthcare, which is well over $1 trillion we might as well burn because we don't get better health outcomes than major European countries. And then the entitlements, of which there are three major ones, or Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid, but also Obamacare and dozens of programs, some effective, some not, meant to alleviate poverty. But there's tremendous waste, duplication, and opportunities for savings there.
Mr. Lips, I see you itching to get on the mic, and I need to ask you a question, follow-up, but you go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I think a great area to focus on would be implementing watchdog recommendations. The GAO has put together a list of more than 200 recommendations for Congress and 5,000 recommendations for federal agencies. GAO says that this could save upwards of $200 billion.
What is GAO? We don't use initials in my office. What does that stand for?
The Government Accountability Office.
Okay. All right. You think Congress should codify the DOGE or certain aspects of its operations?
I think it's a good question. I don't know if it's necessary. I think that I would recommend codifying and putting strength behind the executive orders trying to improve program integrity measures within Treasury. The do not pay system needs help. It needs more information, and you could save hundreds of billions of dollars.
Mr. Burton, Mr. Dickerson, should we have a group of people at each agency who are focused on cost savings?
Yes.
I think everybody at every agency should be focused on that.
You know, as fiscally responsible as the state of Tennessee is, low tax state, no debt, they have, I've seen that in the individual counties even, they're talking about this. So I think it's one thing, the residual of this will be hopefully some long-term savings and elimination of waste, abuse, and fraud. DOGE is subjecting federal spending to a higher level of scrutiny. What level of spending scrutiny do you think is important?
Not sure I entirely understand the question.
Yeah, I mean, I would say...
Well, how deep should we go?
Oh.
How about that?
We should, I think a reasonable objective would be to get back to the level of federal spending during President Clinton's term.
I'm out of
We
time.
would balance the budget at that
I'd just like to see us go back to pre-COVID level spending. Thank you, Chair Lady.